And the other problem with, students is not only are they, if you have a student who is not interested in school, it's like your hormones are raging, you're trying to be cool. How is it even possible to learn? I mean, as a kid growing up, I know for myself, it's like I was so concerned about, do the girls like me? Am I fitting in? Am I cool? And it was almost like education was like the last thing on my mind. And it's a tough task that you guys have to do. Now, for me, still, the best way for me to learn is by doing. If you're, whether I'm sculpting, building, welding, all my life, my dad, he was letting me use a table saw and a bandsaw when I was 9 years old. I mean, what kind of a father does that, right? But he taught me how to respect tools. He taught me how to work with my hands, and it helped me. It gave me a new tool in learning, and I guess that's for me. That's what worked. Now, why does MythBusters educate? Because that's what we're doing. We're working with our hands. We're getting our hands dirty. We are involved in the story, and we are excited about what we're doing. And through our excitement, you guys, it's like people can't help but get excited with us. So what I want to do now is just kind of give you an overview of how I became a MythBuster. Now, I kind of been training to be a MythBuster ever since I was a kid. I just didn't realize it. I was a very curious kid. I was jumping off of my parents' house onto mattresses, when I was a teenager. I almost set my parents' house on fire twice. One time I made a flamethrower with a auto body paint gun, filled it with gasoline, and it was in the backyard. Don't try this at home. Seriously. Try it at your neighbor's home. So in case you burn the house down, it's your neighbor's house, not yours. So I'm sitting in the backyard spraying, this homemade flamethrower, and I turned to the house, and the whole side of the house went up in flames. I thought I was going to burn my family's house down. Then when I was 19, I started getting into explosives. I wasn't a terrorist. I was just really curious. I used to take homemade, I would take fireworks that you can get 4th of July. I mean, I'm sure in Texas you guys have, amazing fireworks. California, they've, everything's illegal in California. Not everything. So what I used to do is we would go buy fireworks from the store, from whatever the local, when it was 4th of July, I'd go buy our own fireworks, break them apart, and we would make pipe bombs. But that's what you do when you're 19, right? And so this one summer, me and my friends were, setting off these pipe bombs, and almost every day. And my neighbor was fed up, and thank God, and I didn't live out in in this huge field where there's one house and the neighbor's a couple of yards or miles away. It was a small neighborhood. I mean, backyards, my backyard was butt up against another backyard. There was houses close by. So my neighbor came over and he said, if I hear one more noise come from this house, I'm calling the cops. And we're like, hey, go back to go read the newspaper. Leave us, we're just having fun. So we made this giant pipe bomb. It was probably 12 inches long. And I don't know how this happened, but my friends convinced me to ignite it in my backyard. We could have gone to the school. We could have, gone to, taken it, somewhere, I mean, there was a million places we could have let it off, and no one would have known it was me. So we set it off in my backyard. He comes over and he's like, look, cops are on their way. And we're like, yeah, sure they are. So we should probably get out of here, in case he's not lying. So we left, we were hanging out at the mall for a couple hours, and we came back and we're driving home, and we're like, wouldn't it be funny if when we drove up, there was cops at my house? And we were like, yeah, that would be funny. Sure enough, there was 2 cop cars in my driveway of my parents' house. Now luckily my parents were camping that weekend, so they had no idea this was going on. So I took off, I'm hiding out. my parents came home. I was like, I was driving, that night I was driving around, and a cop saw my car, and like, I saw him turn the lights on and pull a Yui, and he like started following me. I lost him. There was an APB on my truck. Like, they were literally, I was like, it was a manhunt. I was on the run. And so I get back to my house, and I like park my car like blocks away. I'm like jumping through people's backyards to get to my house. The next morning, my parents came home, and I was like, the cops are after me. I can't lie. I gotta tell you that I set this pipe bomb off. And they're like, yeah. The neighbors told us. So I was like, okay. So they're like, don't worry. I'm sure they're just gonna have a talking to you. That afternoon, the chief of police of Monterey, where I grew up, showed up, and he had pieces of shrapnel from my pipe bomb. And he said, yeah, we found these pieces. They landed across the street in your neighbor's driveway. As she was getting out of the car, she said shrapnel was raining down on her. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay. And we're like, we're so sorry. I'm into special effects. It wasn't. Nowadays, they would have locked me up, right? I mean, there would have been no question. And he sits me down with my mom, and he was like, you're 19, this is a felony. I didn't know making pipe bombs was a felony. Did you guys? I honestly didn't know that at the time. And so he was like, you can go to jail right now. And he goes, but I did the research. I talked to your teachers at school, and they all said that you're into special effects and that you're a good kid. You're not the greatest student, but you're a good kid. And then you mean well, and so because of that, I'm not going to arrest you, which I could right now. He's like, I would rather arrest you now than have somebody hurt or you kill yourself in the months down the road. And I still see that chief of police now. Now he sees what I'm doing, and he's so proud of me. Because I mean, think about it. If he had arrested me, I probably wouldn't be here talking to you guys right now.